Welcome. So we're going to be talking about numerology, and I will be using some interesting examples for you to look at with me. Charlie Kirk was shot and died today. A 31-year-old man lost his life today because he did not share the opinions of other people. And my blessings go out to his family because sadly, the videos of how he lost his life will live in perpetuity. That means that his children will eventually grow up to see how their daddy died. No matter what we feel about a human being, this is not the way. And though there was not one thing I agreed with him, not one thing I agreed on Charlie Kirk, I would never wish that on any human being. So I'm kind of disappointed to see people who are pro this and pro that would actually start celebrating. Thankfully, a lot of people aren't in the same fucked up mode. But I'm going to start talking about some people, presidents, that were assassinated, okay, over the years. So we're going to go looking at Abraham Lincoln, okay, because I want you to understand how the universe works and their patterns. And let me just, I'm going to start with Charlie Kirk. I think it's important. Please share the live because this is important. You guys, everyone talks about angel numbers and this, that, and the other. It's romantic, it's fun, it's whatever. But the way the universe works is a lot more intense than we give it credit for. It's not a parlor game. It's something that the ancient great emperors understood. The emperors, the conquerors would go to oracles, people like me actually, okay, people who understood these numbers. And again, a little background. I've been doing this since 1994. And this is how I chose my son's name and the day he was born, okay? So I take this shit very seriously. So I want you to pay attention. I want you to pull out your notebook because I want to teach you this, okay? I want to teach you about how the universe uses, and it's not just angel numbers, it's light beings and how they communicate with us. So let's start out with Charlie Kirk, okay? And then we're gonna go down the rabbit hole together. Charlie Kirk's name, Charlie, comes out to the number 20. 20 is judgment. In tarot, it's judgment, okay? In Chaldean numerology, it is the awakening. It's called the awakening and judgment as in a tarot card, you'll see judgment. And he spelled Charlie a very unusual way with the IE ending, not the Y. Usually when a dude goes by Charlie, it's a Y ending, okay, not an IE. And so judgment on the tarot card, you'll see people rising out of coffins and basically it's a resurrection, okay, in tarot. But it goes down to the number 2. Number 2 is connected to the planet moon, to the moon, and it's connected to the high priestess in numerology, okay, actually in tarot. His last name, which I found was interesting, comes out to 7, the journey. It's connected to Neptune, okay? The day he was born was October 14th, 1993. Lots of 9s. Now, when you add the numbers, right, 10/14/1993, when you add those numbers, it comes out to 28, the sacrificial lamb. I'm not joking. This is why I'm doing this live today, because I want to have you pay attention. So when you see your numbers talking to you, I need you to take it seriously. So that it's called the trusting lamb. And it's connected to contradictions. It symbolizes a person or entity of fine promise, even genius, great possibilities with the capability of achieving impressive success. But then it falls into, I'm just going to jump to it. It falls into the number 10, success. But then it falls into, I'm just going to jump to it. It falls into the number 10, right? 2 plus 8 is 10. It's Isis Osiris, the Wheel of Fortune. That is the same in numerology as it is in tarot. The Wheel of Fortune turns. It's connected to Isis Osiris. And the Wheel of Fortune goes up and it goes down, meaning your luck is good this year and your luck isn't so good next year, that kind of thing. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so his life path ultimately was 1. 1 is the sun. In tarot, the sun is 19. 1 plus 9 is 1. You'll notice why the number 9 is such a perfect master number. It is God's perfect master number. Did you notice? I said 2 plus 8 equals 10 equals 1. 19, 1 plus 9 equals 1. In other words, the minute you see a 9, just Remove the 9, and there's your a single-digit compound number. The day he died was today. Today's the 10th, right? What is 10? 1. 9/10/2025 comes out to 19. When you add all those numbers, it's 19, the sun, the Prince of Heaven, into 10, right? Isis, Osiris, remember? Into the 1. So not only was his life path 10, aka 1, he died on the number 10, which is the 1, on the 10th day. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Now I'm going to go to Abraham Lincoln. Okay? We're going to move over to Abraham Lincoln. His name, Abraham, comes out to 16. 16 in tarot is the tower. 16 in numerology is the tower. What is the tower? A collapse. The tower represents somebody going up the scales of success quite fast and absolutely collapsing just as fast. 16, what is 16? 1 plus 6 equals 7. What is 7? It's the journey. It's, the journey of life, okay? Pay attention because I'm going to come up with JFK. He was the 16th president. When I add, because he was known as Honest Abe Lincoln, I added that. ABE, right? Comes out to 8. What is 8 in numerology? Well, 8 is taking on karma, and it's massively karmically entangled, is 8. It's a fucked up number. I don't know why people think it's lucky. It's not until you become transcendental and you transmute the vibration of 8. What's 8 plus 8? 8 plus 8 is 16. Okay, let's continue. Now, what did I just say? I said that when I add his numbers, right, it comes out to, so Abraham is 16, which equals 7. He was the 16th president. Lincoln comes out to 9. Okay, ultimately, final compound number. When I add all to 9, okay, ultimately, final compound number. When I add all the letters of his name, it comes out to 16, which is 7. He was born February 2nd on the 12th of the month. 12th is the sacrifice and the victim in numerology. In tarot, it's the hanged man. It's a stagnation of energy. It's, I'm going to see things from a higher eagle's eye view. It's not panicking, but it's quite an interesting number. And it turns into 3, right? And 3, okay, the number 3 is connected, to the planet Jupiter. Idealism, higher education, going against the grain. It's the Holy Trinity, the mind, body, and spirit, okay? Okay. Now, when you add when he was born, right, February 12th to 1809, it comes out to 23. 23 is a fucking kick-ass number. 23 is the line of the Magi. It's a very important number. It's connected to Mercury, 5. Okay, 5 is connected to Mercury. What is Mercury? Communication. The day he died was April 15th, 1865. Pay attention. What did I say he was born on? The 12th, right? 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3, correct? Okay. When I add April 15th, by the way, 15 is, in tarot, it's the devil, okay? It then goes down to the number 6, which is the lovers, which is a choice, Gemini energy. It's also connected to the magician in numerology. When you add April 15th to 1865, it comes out to 30, which is 3. Have you noticed the pattern? Are you understanding what I'm saying? There's a pattern here, right? So he was born on the 12th, which is 3, and died on the day, which when you add all the numbers, comes out to 30, which is 3. Okay, JFK. JFK, just the initial, comes out to 1 plus 8 plus 2 equals 11. The muzzle line. What is a muzzle line? It's a massive line that's in a bird's cage that's been muzzled. It has a muzzle on its mouth. He was born May 29th. What is 29? 11. 2 plus 9 equals 11. It's connected to the moon. 2, secrets, hidden societies, hidden things going on and on, right? Okay. When you add May 29th, right, 1917, it comes out to what? 34. Bingo, 7. It's the same as 25. Discrimination and analysis. He doesn't get the vibration of 16 like Lincoln does, if you notice, but he does get the number 7. The journey, Neptune. And Neptune, waters, troubled waters, right? Okay. When you add the day he was born, now remember, when was he born? May 29th, 11. When does he die? November. What is November? 11. 11, 22, 1963. What does it come out to as a number? Well, 22, November, 11. 11, 22, 1963. What does it come out to as a number? Well, 22 is 4. 4 is a person who, and you'll hear me say that when I've done numerology. 4 is the sacrifice. 4 is someone who volunteers. 4 is somebody giving something up, okay, to come in. They lower their frequency to get something done. Plus 2, plus 2, plus 1963, the separation. And what is that total? It comes out to 25. Yeah, 7. Here we go again. Holy fuck. So the day he was born, May 29th, 1917, came out to 34, which is 7. And the day he died, 11, 22, 1963, came out to 25, 7. You can't make this shit up at all. Kennedy, the name Kennedy, is 27, which comes out to 9. It's a good number. It's a very powerful number. It's called a scepter. And it's a very powerful number. 9 again. John, his name John, is 18. Again, a good number, but spiritual material conflict, which is 9 again. And Fitzgerald, right? Fitzgerald comes out to 8. Now, 9 cancels out to leave you 8. 8 is a karmic number. It's fraught with karma. Very similar to Abraham. Did you notice? Abraham was, excuse me. Abe was 8. Honest Abe Lincoln. That was 8. This is 8. I find that bizarre. So, between John Fitzgerald Kennedy being an 8, which is fucked, and JFK, which is 11, which is, again, fucked, you can see the patterns. I just did Martin Luther King. And, okay, yeah, I was going to do that next. Actually, I'm going to do Malcolm X, honestly. And I've done it before. I think I've done it before. So I'm going to do Malcolm X. He was a Taurus. So let's see what comes up. Bear with me, okay? So he was born May 19th. Did you notice a pattern here? May 19th? May 19th is, 19 is what? It's 10. It's 1 plus 9 equals 10. It's connected to Terra, which is the sun. It's connected to the sun in numerology, which originates the numerology that I'm doing. And I'm going to be working on a book because I really don't like the book I've been working on. But originally it comes from the Egyptians, Chaldeans. That's where numerology originally came from. Okay, so that's who first was understanding how the universe communicated with numbers. And bear in mind, this is before clocks. That should kind of make you go, what the fuck? Okay, so there's a respect to that. Okay, so he's born May 19th, right? 1925. So let's see if there's a pattern. And I'm doing it right in front of you, so you know. Okay, so so again we've got 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1925, right? All right, so give me a second. And it's funny how, anyway, I'm just going to move on with that. Okay, that comes out to 32. 32 is fantastic. It's connected to Mercury, massive communication with the public, but then he loses his life on February 21st, okay, which is 3, once again. And hang on, who was 3 again? Let me see. Who was 3? Abe Lincoln. He was a 12. So the day he dies, we're looking at the 21st of the month on February, right? The 21st of the month in February. When is Lincoln born? February 12th. It's inverted. 3. Again, 3. When does he die? 1965. Okay, 1965. And so let's look at what the pattern is, if any. I haven't done his name, and to be honest with you, that is a little lengthy, and I'm not going to do it today, but I gave you examples of names and how important those are. And they are very important, as you can probably tell. So now you're going to be looking at, when you see angel numbers, or what I'm going to say is the universe speaking to you through numbers, you're going to have a whole different attitude about it. You're going to take this shit very seriously because it's not a joke. 26. Yeah, he's fucked. 26 is 8. 26 is connected to taking on karma, which she doesn't really go really too much into it, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But it is, I do feel like he accomplished the goal. In other words, when he came back from Mecca, he was able to realize that his intense racial ideas, racist ideas, were not going to work. And not to mention, he was healed. Actually, he was healed. He saw that as he put it, and I'm paraphrasing very badly, but he said, I realized that my Muslim brothers also had blue eyes and blonde hair. And it changed and radicalized him. What's interesting is they almost complete their full cycle. Yeah, exactly. From birth to time of passing. Exactly. And so, yeah, and that's what I'm trying. It's really interesting. And it's, there are patterns. Like, I'll give you an example. When my father died in 1985, right? July 31st, 1985, right? When my husband, when I saw that my son called me and said, they're trying to revive him. I knew he was not coming back because it was on the same day in 2020. I knew that he was leaving the planet that moment I got the call, because it was on July 31st, the same as my father. And why would I be so negative? Because I've always respected numbers, and I know that they're there. So, for example, guess what? 7/31/1985 is 34, which is the journey is complete, right? Now do the same. I'm just gonna. By the way, I've never done this, just so you know, or I might have and I forgot. But 2020, and let's see what happens. It comes out to 15, and 15 was a choice, and that makes sense to me, and I'll tell you why. 15 being a choice is because it becomes 6. 15 is the magician, 15 is massive healing, and 15 turns into 6. In tarot, it's the choice. It's connected to Venus. And so there was a choice where he could have come back, and he decided not to. And so sometimes we do fulfill our mission, and sometimes we have spent so much time going on the turnstile again and again and not accomplishing what we thought we wanted to accomplish on the grand scale of what our egoic persona decides is the grand scale. And there is a what is it called? A mercy. Okay? With a mercy. If you saw how Charlie Kirk lost his life, it's very graphic. But the last time I ever saw someone taken out like that was, I've got to admit, JFK was the last time I ever saw anyone taken out like that. And it's horrific. And for anyone to celebrate that, they're an asshole. Okay? I'm sorry. And I there's not one thing I agree with Charlie Kirk, but the pattern with Charlie Kirk that really blew my mind is, what is it? Okay, listen. So his birthday comes out to 10. The day he dies comes out to 10, meaning the day is September 10th. And when you add September 10th, 2025, it comes out to 10. And what does that combine? It combines to 3, the Trinity. 3. That's why numbers fascinate me. Fascinate me. By the way, I just realized, when you add the number Charlie 2 to 7, it comes out to 9. So together, his name was very powerful. Okay? Any questions or comments? So again, I'm not going to do like Malcolm X's day, but I bet you, Rachel, if you want to do it, you can do it. Add his day. And Martin Luther King, if you were going to share that, if you're here. But Martin Luther King, let me just do that because, these are, and then we're going to do a Bobby Kennedy just for the hell of it, because what the fuck, we're here, right? All right. So let's see, because we're living in a very strange time, and we need to understand what the universe is saying. Okay, so check it out. I need more paper. Fuck. Okay, let me go here. So let me see who's the. So we're getting the 15th right off the bat. Martin Luther King is born. Martin Luther. I'm just gonna put that. Is born January 15th. So that's 1/15, right? 1929. 1929. Okay. So right off the bat, we've got the common of the 15, which is the magician. It's connected to the devil as well, which is addictions or fucked up things that you're attracting, and it's not a person's fault. Sometimes it's just there's patterns and some scars and aka impressions that follow you from one incarnation to another. To be honest, and it's not a curse; it's just patterns that need to be cleared. So guess what? So he's a 28. Thank you, Rachel, for pointing him out. Now I know why you were bringing it up. So 28 is 10, right? 2 plus 8 is 10, which is 1, which is very similar, which is exactly like Charlie Kirk. On the day he was born, he was a 28. And again, the 28 is the sacrificial lamb, the trusting lamb. And I'm saying sacrificial. I don't know why. Because it's actually the trusting lamb. It's enemies. It's you thinking that you're going to be okay, but you're not. It's you not realizing that you are being warned, ignoring red flags, coming to a sense of everything's going to be okay. And in other words, not believing the horrific possibilities that people are able to go to take your ability to voice your opinions. He died on April 4th. Again, that's taking on karma and into 1968. Okay, 1968. So let's do the number and 4. And by the way, this is something I do. Now, remember, he was born on the 15th, right? Which is 6. What is 6 plus 4? Well, it's 10. So here we go again with 10. Not only is his life path 10, so he's a 1, right, his life path, but if you combine the day he was born with the day he died, it comes out to 10, which is 1. But let me add what happens when we do 4 plus 4. So 4 plus 4, which we know is 8, and 1968, right? 1968, that's the day they took his life. And it comes out to 32. Magnetic communication with the public. Now, why is this important? Think about it. He was more powerful after he was gone. To be honest, his words still harness the imagination of people today. So it's interesting to me because in this pattern here, we see someone who basically were in his death, he became a better communicator, meaning his communication continued long after he was gone, 32, which is interesting. But he was born on the 10th and died on, which would come out to 10, which is 1. And 10, again, to remind you, is Isis Osiris, the Wheel of Fortune. Let's do Bobby Kennedy. Is that cool? Let's go to Bobby Kennedy. I wish I'd prepared, but I was really fuming, and not fuming in a bad way, meaning I was all passionate. You know how I get passionate, and hopefully you guys can hear me well. Okay, Bobby Kennedy. So let's see what that pattern is. Isn't that wild? So we're seeing patterns, and eventually, when you get more comfortable with it. So he was born November 20th. Okay, hang on. Let me go back because I want to look at patterns here. Bear with me. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so Charlie's 20th. The name Charlie's 20th, which is, what is it? It's judgment. Remember, it's judgment. Okay, so let's look at Bobby. Let's look at, okay, so he's 11, which is the muzzle line, 20th, which is judgment, into 1925. So he's born in 1925. And that comes out to, bear with me, 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus, what is it again? 1925. Okay, so let's look at that, 1925. Okay, this is when numbers make sense. And guess what? He's a 21. I'm blown away because now we're getting the pattern of 3 again. Remember the pattern of 3? what's his name? Abe Lincoln is born on the 12th, which is a 3. Where else did we see 3? Where else? What else? I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember. There's patterns being shared by these people. It's really strange. The 2 in 20 is the high priestess, the sun. He knew what happened. He had how do I put this? Bobby Kennedy knew a lot more than people realize. Let's put it that way. We're gonna do his son afterwards. We're gonna do JFK's son, John, afterwards, just to see what the fuck's going on. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna jump to it. So he's 21. Okay, so there was 12 in Abraham Lincoln, which was 3. The day he died came out to 33. Okay, because I knew I saw them, and I'm scribbling like crazy, so I'm not. Yeah, there's a pattern of 3s going on with Abe Lincoln. Okay, and there's a pattern of 3 with Bobby Kennedy with 21. 21 is the star of the Magi. It's an incredible number. It is 3. When you add 2 plus, which people don't understand, I do that, but it comes out to 2 plus. No, I'm not going to go there because most people don't understand, and it's not going to make sense to them. I'm just going to jump. Most people cannot. There's certain things I do in numerology that do not make sense to most people, so I'm just going to move on. Bear with me. But I was directed by my guides, and math in the 3D world is not the way it is in other worlds. Okay, so this is heavy. Again, here we go with 11. So, in other worlds. Okay, so this is heavy. Again, here we go with 11. So, oh wait, I jumped. Hang on. I think. Hang on. Let me jump back. Sorry, Bobby Kennedy. So he dies. My mind is. I'm so like all over the place. It's wild. So he dies 6/6. Isn't it interesting? 1968. 1968. I want to jump right on to John, but I'll just stay here. My mind is like that. I have a Taurus sun sign with. Trust me, I have no Gemini in the top planets, so I don't know where I get this Gemini intensity. Okay, so 6/6 plus 1968. Lots of 6s, and 1968. And it comes out to 36, which is 68, and it comes out to 36, which is 9. 36 is an incredible number. It's connected to the scepter, which his number, his name, Kennedy, is the scepter. It's 27, as I said before, which comes out to 9. 9 is God's perfect master number. 6 is a choice. There was a choice. He might have, I don't know. I doubt he would have survived, but it is about love. It's about, I think he wanted to serve I really do believe he wanted to do his best. When you add the day he was born, 20th, which is 2 to 6, well, 20 plus 6 is 26, the trusting lamb. When you add 2 plus 6, it's 8, which is massive karma. Okay, just so you know. All right, now let's go to John. I really want to jump into because that always fucking disturbed me. And then we'll go to Princess Diane. We've done her before, but we're gonna do her again with a more I don't know, to see patterns. We're gonna do it just to see what's going on. So John, this is how I know him. John. He's my generation basically. So 11, 25. Here we go again with 25, which is 7. He was born 11/25, 1960. Okay, let's see what the pattern is here. And 11 again, we go into the muzzle line, so that seems to be a pattern. And again, 25, which is discrimination and analysis. It means you learn by watching other people fuck up, and you learn by you fucking up. If you're really using the vibration of that gift of that number, you don't repeat the same mistakes twice. Let's put it that way. And if you've ever seen him interviewed on how he was promoting George, his magazine, it's intense. Guess what? So his life path was 25. 25. He learned from other people's mistakes and his own. 25 was his life. So again, connected to Neptune, connected to the journeys. At the time we thought we had only 7 chakras. I mean, we have lots of chakras. Don't get me wrong, but we were dealing with only 7. And God bless his soul, he was killed July, right? So 7, 16. 16 is the tower, which is connected to Honest Abe. Again, his name, Abraham. I'm looking where, oh yeah, Lincoln, the name Lincoln is 16, which is 7. Let's keep going. All right, so let's look at, when did he die? 1999, so there's lots of 9s, right? All right, so 7, I mean, we don't have to do more. 7 plus 1, right? Plus 6, right? Plus 1. I don't have to add the other 9s. I already know I don't need them. And it comes out to 15. 15 is the energy of the magician. It comes out to the choice. Martin Luther King, he died. He was born on the 15th. Of course, you're gonna see patterns like that. You know, I mean, there's just so many birth dates in any in any given time for any human being. But the day Honest Abe died was April 15th, 15, and the life path. If anyone born on the 16th, right, July 16, 1999 is 15, which is 6, and it's just so I don't know. April 15th for Honest Abe is the day he died. Again, we get 15. Where else do we get 15? I think we're done. It's mostly 16 that I'm watching as a pattern. Yeah. 16 seems to be the pattern for him and Honest Abe. Let's see, what else? Sometimes. Martin Luther King was born on the 15th. Abe dies on the 16th. Excuse me. The 16 is connected to his name. Any other 16? It's interesting. Can I tell you what I'm noticing? Okay. The number 7 is coming up. So the shadows, this is what I figured out. The shadows of 7 is multiple. 34 clearly is not a shadow. It's actually not. It's the same as 25, which is discrimination. 25 is not a shadow. But the shadows that all these people have together, almost all of them, is 7. And so for me, the issue is, or rather the negative shadow, or the specter, if you will, hanging on them, is 16. 16, which is 7. Yeah, there's a lot of 7. Anybody else want to tell me who else? I'm trying to think who else was very important that passed away. Let me look at Caroline Kennedy just for the hell of it. Let me look at Caroline Kennedy. I'll tell you what. I want to see what their connection was to each other. So Caroline Kennedy. I'm just going to draw a line here. Caroline Kennedy. I just want to know what was the pattern together. Bear with me. She was born. Okay, no, not Carol, not this one. What was her name? What was his wife's name? Hang on, I forgot her name. I can't believe. Oh yeah, Caroline Bassett. Okay, gotcha. Okay, bear with me. Let me look. Okay, so she was a Capricorn. She was born 1/7. Here we go again with fucking 7. So remember, he's born 25th of 11, right? He's born in 1960. He's a 7. She's a 7. Did you notice that? So together, 14 is massive public communication. They're able to fucking, and they were rallying people's imagination. Oh my God, we're going to get Camelot back. Hamlet's going to come back. Swear to God, it was a big thing. Okay, she was born in 1966. So let's look what her life path is. So his life path again was 25. He was a double 7. Did you get that? Okay. So let me put that together. So 1 plus 7 plus 1966, right? If I'm wrong, let me know. I'll look down in a minute and I'll see if I'm incorrect. And it comes out to 30. Here we go again with fucking 30. Man. So it's 3. Okay, so hang on, okay? Bear with me. I already know that, bear with me. Okay, when I add 7, the life path he had, bear with me. Okay, when I add 7, the life path he has to the day he died, 7 plus 6 equals what? 13. 13 is connected to death, transformation, both in numerology and the tarot, which turns into 4, right? Fuck. All right, let me see with her. So she is a 3 life path plus the day they died was a 15, which is a 6. 6 plus 3 is a 9. I think there was a completion for her. Together they were a powerhouse. There's no doubt. No one's going to argue that point. And they could have I don't know if they're twin flames. Definitely high level soulmate. 7 plus 7, 14 powerhouses. When you combine their numbers, right? 3, right? Her life path is 3. His life path is 7, which is 25. It comes out to 10. 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, Isis Osiris. It drops down to 1. So together, their life path combined was 1. Pretty amazing. Okay, so Diane, also 25. Yeah, so, fuck. Okay, let me look at, but we need to go deeper than just that. But thank you, my love. I really appreciate that. So let's go deeper with Diane, because when she died, let me put it that way, I wasn't convinced about a lot of shit. Boy, because I watched it on CNN as it was going down. Well, as we were up all night waiting for the answers, just like with John as Caroline Bessette. We were waiting for the answer. So let's go to her. So did you notice? Are you noticing patterns of 10 coming up a lot, which comes out to 1, right? Or 19, which comes out to 1, right? Okay. So she's born. Princess Diana is born July, right? 7/1/1961, right? Okay. And so when you add that, let's see what her life path. So you just said her life path is 25, right? Okay. Hang on, okay? I'm just gonna. I check. Sometimes I check and double check, because But so far, and again, if I'm wrong, let me know. Okay. And sure enough, 25 is the journey, discrimination and analysis. She learned a lot. She was learning a lot. She was not. She might have been depressed, bulimic, whatever. But this chick was not sitting on her ass, kicking rocks. She was a powerhouse. She dies on August 8th, which is very interesting, because it's August 31st, excuse me. And August 31st, so you've got the 8 here, karma. It's kind of like hanging on the side. It's the month, right? But 4 is the day she died. 31 turns into 4, 1997, okay? She's 36 years old, which is 9, okay? All right. And she allegedly, I have to say that just for entertainment purposes only, was pregnant with a man who was a Muslim. Okay, just think about that for a second, and wrap that around your head for a minute. Okay, wrap that around your head for a minute. All right. So the day she dies is actually a 38, and what is that? That's an 11, the muzzle line, which is what? The high priestess too. Okay, bear with me for a second. So when you realize that she's born on 7/1, what is 1 plus 31? Well, 31, which is 4. That's 5. Magnetic communication with the public. When you add 7 plus 11, what does that come out to? 18. Spiritual material conflict. But she comes out of it. She's born. She dies at 36 years old, which is a 9. She, when I add the life path of her birth to the life path of her death, it comes out to 9. I don't think she had another day to live. No matter how many conspiracies one talks about, I don't see that she was going to live another 10 or 20 years. Based on these numbers, I don't see it. I don't see a moment where she could have stopped. What's interesting is, again, you go back to, she was born on 7/1 and 8/31 when she dies, which is 4. It comes out to 5. 5 is she continued per her death. I mean, she's been dead fucking 30 years now. The 5/5 is she continued per her death. I mean, she's been dead fucking 30 years now. And she's still, her communication is still ongoing. It's still, inspiring people, healing people, in awe of her. People who weren't even born when she died love Princess Diane. I mean, some people, because of what she represented, and people go down the rabbit hole in that. In fact, I just commented on somebody who was doing some research on her and did not know that Dodi Fayed, I forgot his name, but Dodi Fayed, let's sue him, because they were engaged. The night they came out of the Ritz hotel in Paris, they were engaged. She had a kick-ass ring. Okay, so Dodi, I'm going to put Dodi here. Okay? And he was born April 15th, so he's in Aries. 15 is 6, right? When we add 6 plus 1, by the way, the day she was born to the day he was born, it comes out to 7, the journey. Did you see the pattern here? Remember, John and Carolyn Bessette, they are both double sevens. Okay. Um, and he's born 1955. Let's look at his life path. Let's just figure out what the fuck. So just so you know, this is something I do when I do readings for people. I do a numerology before I go into readings. This is exactly what you're seeing me do is what I do. Okay, for people. Before we start any readings at all, I have what I call a foundational reading, which includes this, so that I can understand what your karmic contract looks like. To be honest, guess what he is? He's a 30. He's a 30, which is a 3. What is she? What is she? She's a 25. Remember, she's a 25. What is 3 plus 7? It's 10. It's 1. You see the patterns? I'm actually turning red because I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. The day, so when he dies, right? So her contract, I feel like she's no longer a match to this 3D world. I'm going to be honest. But when we add 9 plus 3, what is that? It's 12. The sacrifice and the victim. But if he balances himself out, the 3 ends the cycle. And if you look at it, it's 15 plus 3 plus, she's a 9, he's a 6. The day he's born, he's a 6. The day he's born, he's a 30, which is 3, 369. Anyway, I'm fascinated by this. Fascinated. Do you have any person that died from like a weird situation? Somebody that should have not died so quickly? Listen, as a 15, I'm a little concerned. Well, it's a choice, and really, if you're a 15 life path, it's a 6, and you're constantly going to have choices. That's what it means. It means you could, honestly, there's a reason. And 15 is the magician. That means you can co-create whatever you want. So I wouldn't be so concerned, but there are patterns. And the one that blew me to pieces, unfortunately, I'm sorry, that's such I just realized how fucking insensitive it was for me to say that. The one that stunned me and shook me and threw, where I actually got cold, was Charlie Kirk's number, which was all over the place, a 10, which came out to 3. And we're going back to that. I can't think of anyone else that lost their life in a weird way, in a way where you're like shaking your head going, yeah, I don't think so. Let me see. I'm going to look at Dodi Fayed's father. I think it's a good idea. And I'll tell you why. Because to the day he died, he insisted that they had done something wrong. And he was born January 29th, 19... Hang on for a quick fucking second here. Let me tell you something else about grief. So remember, they died. Both his son, who was the soul of his soul. Okay, he loved that boy. I've seen interviews. He loved his son. So when Dodi died, he was absolutely destroyed. As you know, Diana and him died on August 31st. His father, Dodi Mohammed El Fayed, died on August 30th, literally a day before they died. And where did he die? In London, England. Okay. So 8, let me go to the day he was born. So 27 is a beautiful number. It's a 9. It's connected to Princess Diane's 9. She's got 9s all over the place. So I remember he really adored Diana. He just thought she was elegant and the real thing. And I think he was very proud to see that his son was getting engaged to her and they were getting serious. And reportedly she was pregnant. Okay. Anyway, the day he was born was 31, which is 4. It's taking on karma. That's what it means. It's taking on karma. In other words, for him to come here, this man might have a bad reputation because, again, the winners write the history. But I think that he was born in a very rich family. I think he had some privileges, but his numbers show me that he really actually didn't need to be here. 9, 27, and 4 show me something that's very interesting. 4 is, again, the volunteer number, and that's what I've been looking at for years. The day he dies is again 30, so 8 plus, 8 plus 3, right? Obviously, plus, oh shit, hang on, 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 18. Oh fuck. Okay. Plus 3 is 18. Oh fuck. Okay. So you see how Diane's numbers are a lot of nines. She dies. She's 36 years old. It's a 9. The day she's born, which is 7, right? The life path is 7, plus the day life path of the day she died is 11. That comes out to 18, which is 9. And he dies on the 18th, which is a 9. He was he really adored Princess Diane, and he spent millions of dollars to make sure that people knew that this was not fucking normal how they passed in that tunnel in Paris that night. Not normal. That something was stinky in Denmark. Any questions on that? Does anybody have anyone that's been, unfortunately, I feel her loss. Me too. We all feel her loss. She was an incredible human being, and she would have done incredible things. So we're seeing patterns. There's a lot of theory. So these people that like make their marks on the planet seem to share 10, which is 1, 7, 16, 3, and 9. Those seems to be the and things seem to go south for those people as well. So Princess Diane seems to have, I don't think she's incarnating on a 3D situation ever again. Seems to have, I don't think she's incarnating on a 3D situation ever again because of the things she did. You have to realize she was touching people with AIDS when people were terrified of getting near anyone that had AIDS, much less touch them at all. So her and Liz Taylor were the first 2 women that really were activists in that movement of not allowing people who had AIDS to be dehumanized. What else? She was very much involved in minefields and removing minefields. She was very much involved in that, and there now it's come out. I know there's a picture of her with a red and white keffiyeh. I saw it, and she is very casually dressed. She's got the keffiyeh around her neck, and it's reportedly said, now it's coming out, that her next endeavor was to help the people in Palestine. So, do with that with what you want, okay? But I know that John Kennedy was using George the magazine, which I loved. That magazine, it was so fucking intelligent. And he was using that as a launch pad to get real information on what had happened to his father. And he was being really seriously looked at as the next presidential candidate. So anyway, do with that with what you want. Do whatever you want. I'm not saying anything. Entertainment only. But use your fucking little tinfoil hat and use it to get some downloads, my friends. Any other questions on that? Anybody else? Am I missing anyone? Because I remember last year I did a whole series on rock and roll stars, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, and so forth, and we did those people. I think we did Marilyn Monroe. I think we did her, but because she's involved with the Kennedys, I think I'm going to do Marilyn Monroe again, just for the hell of it. And she was born June 1st. Again, remember, somebody born on the 19th, somebody born on the 28th, somebody born on, you get the pattern, right? They're a 1. They're ultimately a 1. So she's born she's born June 1st, 1926. So Marilyn, okay, June, which is 6/1/1926, okay? And let me look at that. And then I'll let you guys go because, I mean, what else can you add to this shit? It's pretty amazing. But do you understand why I have such a passion, and I have had a passion for numbers for decades. And my twin is the person who taught me about the magic of number 9. Guess what her number is? You're not going to fucking believe this. It's 25. Her life path is 25, which is 7. Have you seen the pattern here? Hang on for a quick second. John was 25. That was a life path. Hang on for a quick second. JFK was 34, which was 7, a life path. You can't make this shit up. Let's continue. So she's a 7. And she loses her life. Okay, and this is how I'm going to put it. On August 4th, 1962. 1962. So what is 1 plus 4? It's 5. Massive communication, kind of like Martin Luther King. After he dies, his legacy continues and perseveres, and it's stronger than ever. In other words, him losing his life did not stop his message one iota. It increased it, if anything at all. So that's where 5 comes in. 1962, bear with me, and it comes out to 30. Okay, 30. Now what is 30? Well, it's 3. What is 3 plus 7? It's 10. What is 10? It's 1. You can't make this shit up. This is so fucking weird. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments on that? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. No one's saying anything. It's so wild. Oh, it's going to be posted to... Yeah, I hope so too. RK might be interesting. I don't think he's on the team of humanity. No, I don't think... Well, I don't know. Some of these people, like, the money, it's always the money. It's always the money. Oh, by the way, because Marilyn Monroe was connected to Joe DiMaggio, who loved the shit out of her. Just on the side note, he was born on the 25th of November. I can't make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up. Okay, Joe DiMaggio. I mean, I'm not even going to write it down because I can't, okay? I don't even have any room anymore. I thought I had empty notebooks and I don't. These are all almost damn near filled. So he was born November 25th, 1914. And his life path is 24, which is 6, the choice. You can't. And by the way, that's why he's so successful, because 24 is love, money, and power and creativity. It's the best number. And he dies, actually 24. What is 24 plus? So 24 is 6. Okay, so check it out. Just on the side note, so you understand how shit works. Right, 24 is 6. Her life path is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. And 13 is death. Transformation, and it's very painful. It's not a fun fucking situation. Their relationship was already going to have problems. He died March 8th. 8th is karma, heavy karma. 1999. I'm just going to add okay. That comes out to 12. The sacrifice and the victim, which comes out to, you guessed it, 3. Yeah, you guessed it, 3. So this is insane, and this is insane. She died on a 3. He died on a 3. And this is insane. She died on a 3. He died on a 3. And what is 3 plus 3? It's 6. 6 again connected to, in tarot, the lovers, and Venus connected to, again, the choice. And making a choice. And I'm sure they met on the other side, because ultimately, I think I think he was fucked up, don't get me wrong. And he was very fucked up. But I think that they really did genuinely love each other. And I think that's probably the only relationship I would look at for her. Certainly not Frank Sinatra, certainly not Bobby Kennedy. I think with Bobby and John, I think honestly it was probably a soulmate type of karmic evolution, when you look at Bobby Kennedy, his life path is 12. When you look at the day Joe DiMaggio dies, it's 12, 21, 12. It's inverted. It's weird how these numbers, it's almost like you can read that these people are super connected. Because I'll tell you one thing, I have numbers, and not everyone that I know is connected to me via numbers. And some people are, like, massively connected. And so when you see numbers, what I notice is people don't understand that sometimes they're seeing their number. Like, for example, I'll have a person who has a life path 18, right? Which is 9, actually, right? And they'll see 333 and not fucking put it together that the universe is talking directly to them. Swear to God. What is 33? Well, it's fucking 9. But they won't see it. Like, I've done readings for people on this, and they'll go, oh my God, I never noticed, right? And they'll say, oh, I see 27 all the time. I'll go, yeah. They're talking to you directly. Oh my God, 27 is 9. So I wanted to bring it up to you to pay attention. I'm really saddened. I'm very, very sad that a 31-year-old man who had every opinion he had, I was against, Charlie Kirk, but God bless him and his family, because that wasn't deserved. No one deserves that ending, and I really, no one should celebrate anyone's demise. I think it's as bad as the IOF celebrating the demise of babies, in my opinion. And if I said that and that makes TikTok ban me again, I don't know what to say, but it's fucked. We cannot become the barbarians that we seek to transmute out of our reality. We cannot become part of that energy, just so you know. So you can disagree with someone and they have a right to thrive. Eventually, sometimes time gives a person a new perception of what was true. I can tell you at the age of 31, because I think back, at the age of 31, I believe certain things I no longer believe in. People change. People have a right to be given the opportunity to change, to evolve. And some people have the opportunity and the right to never change. And it's none of our fucking business. It's that simple. So I want to thank you all for coming to this numerology clinic. I think it was fun, and hopefully you had a good time. You know what I mean, with this, and that it gave you some thoughts to kind of chew on while you start paying attention to what's out there. Okay, why is the universe saying this number to me again and again? And people have romanticized 1111 a lot, and it's really weird because 1111 is connected to your emotions in that moment or an action. Maybe you're driving, it's raining, it's 11:30 at night, you had a fight with your boyfriend or you had a fight with someone and you've rushed out of the house to drive to clear your head, and suddenly you look at the clock on your fucking car and it says 11:11. What are you feeling in that moment? The four pillars are staring back at you. What are you feeling? And by the way, 1111 is a primer number. What does that mean? It means it is usually the first number people start noticing in their awakening. It's the first number. And it might take a year before you see other patterns. When you start seeing 555, we know it's about change. What is 555? Well, 555, 3 times 5 is 15. It's the magician. It's what do you want? It's also connected to tarot as devil. Are you addicted? Do you have self-sabotaging behaviors, addictions? Change is coming, whether you want to or not, is what it also means. And it's connected to 6, Venus, the lovers. Make a choice, but make a heart-based choice. Don't make some egoic, it's just, it makes more sense if I just do X, Y, and Z. No, make a heart-based choice. The lovers. Take the heart path, not the mind path. If you see 333 and it's connected to your number, again, it's talking to you. And 9, I have 2 videos on my playlist on TikTok of the number 9. And I separated those numbers. I separated from 36, 27, 18, and 9 from 144, 414, 441, because the 144 number is completely different. It is not a birthday, obviously, right? Neither is 36, by the way. But I wanted to make sure that there was a separation of the 9 separated from birth dates to connect, and then the 144, which is a number of ascension and evolution of the spirit. Okay? And so when you see 144, when you start seeing 14444, whichever way, right? However you get the 1 in the front of it, in the middle of it, in the, whatever. It's a sign that you are evolving. And you'll see it again and again. You'll see how many 144 likes. You'll see that. You'll see 414 on the clock. You'll see that. You'll see bus 441 stopping at blah, blah. You'll see it again and again and again. You'll get change back, $4.14. You'll get, it's insane. And that's when you've crossed a certain level of growth, to be honest. But because I do this, for a living, I'm just going to be blunt. And I've been doing this for so long, for so many, decades. What I've noticed is that some people will come to me and say, oh, it's a twin flame, it's a twin flame, it's a twin, for example. And when I ask them about the numbers, they don't have a fucking clue. Not a clue. They never see numbers at all. Now, that's not to say they're not twins, by the way, but it's to say they're definitely not there. Numbers, and when people notice numbers, is a sign that it doesn't matter if you were 14 years old believing in reincarnation, reading all these great esoteric books, but there was something not quite opening yet. And then suddenly the funnel opens and boom, you start seeing numbers and you're starting to see patterns, and you're like, and the universe will just slam you again and again and again with the same fucking number. And either it's saying thumbs up or it's saying you're not paying attention. And only you can answer that question. I can't answer that question on a live like this. It makes no sense, if that makes sense, right? So numbers, by the way, how many people do we have here? 9. Amazing. Okay, so the transmutation is what I'm chewing on. The transmutation of a number is very important because the transmutation means that the number no longer owns you. In other words, you've gone so far ahead of the number. It doesn't matter if the number is a karmic number, which is 16, which is a fucked up number. There's no doubt. 8 is a hard number. There's no doubt. But I'll give you the number 16. 16 is fucked up. It's tower moments after tower moments after tower moments until you stop holding on to bullshit. The minute you start smelling the rain before it comes and you go, oh, better let go, better stop being so fucking stubborn, then you start transmuting the number into 7, which becomes the journey. You're no longer flaying in the water. You're not drowning in 3 inches of water anymore. You've transmuted the whole entire life path from 16 to 7, for example, into something that becomes you start seeing life as a journey. Yeah, ups and downs. Yeah, it's a shitty day today. It's been a shitty fucking year. But hey, you know what? What comes up must come down. What comes down must come up. The beautiful thing, which frightens the shit out of people, is that nothing in life remains. Nothing. Not the love of your life, because they will die, or you will die first. Not the perfect job, because somebody will buy the company and dismantle it. Not your youth, because you're going to age. Nothing remains the same. But you can still recreate yourself again and again and again. You can say, well, now I'm 56 and I'm going to be 60 and maybe I'm going to just stop dyeing my hair. You start, it sounds like a small thing, but it's not a small thing to do things like that. You might say, I think I'm going to start writing novels. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to move to Portugal. I don't know Portuguese, but what the fuck? I don't care. I'll learn. And it's this kind of realization that nothing remains, that life is an adventure. You really can't fuck it up unless you're cruel to people, cruel to animals, cruel in any way. Any cruelty against any sentient life, you fucking up. But as long as you don't hurt people or other sentient beings on this planet, you're good to go. You're good to go. And so that's something to hopefully take away, so that you have more courage in the way you live your life. Does that make sense? Learn to swim. Exactly. Or fucking get out of the ocean. Seriously, take a fucking break. Sometimes today's not a good day to swim. Today, the waters are tumultuous, and there's all kinds of weird undercurrents that could spin you out and put you in the middle of the fucking Pacific into a current you can't outswim. And so sometimes it's good to say, today's not a good day to swim, period. Today I'm going to sit it out. Today I'm going to sit in my hammock, have lemonade, and read all day. And people feel like they are failing by not being active in action 7 days a week, which is wrong. Sometimes you will go through a hermit stage where you literally don't do shit for half the year. Half the year you're resetting yourself. Half the year you're not doing shit, and the universe seems to be saying, yeah, and you're not supposed to do shit. The universe will make sure that you are not able to do a damn thing, and you'll get frustrated, which I totally understand. I've been there. But then at some point you have to ask yourself, what am I not getting? What am I not doing? How am I being protected? Like, I'll give you an example. It's very small, but it's kind of important. Yesterday our car didn't start, and it turned out that we needed to just jump the battery. Now the initial, reaction would have been, "Oh, fuck this," and God, no, but it was a very relaxed, like, "Oh, we're being saved from an accident. Probably maybe we're prevented to bump into someone's energy that could be fucked up. Maybe all kinds of maybes, right?" And so we waited an hour, and then we were off and running. But the initial reaction for people is, it's frustration, it's raging against the moment, instead of going, there's a reason why we'll go tomorrow. If all else fails, we'll go tomorrow, right? And it just took a 90-minute delay, an hour to 90. I think it was a total of 90 minutes, and then we were off and running. So it's like looking at stops and blocks sometimes as your ally, not your punishment, but as your ally. So it changes the way you see things, if that makes sense. My guides will knock on my ass when I don't rest. Oh, good for you. I'm glad they do that, actually. Yeah, you have to do that. So, yeah. So hopefully that was fun for you guys. Please follow me on Patreon and follow me on YouTube. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with this channel. They keep playing games with TikTok, and I really don't know. So please follow me if you want to keep following me. Follow me on those two channels. Patreon, there's a free section. We have a one that's for $9.99, where we meet every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time zone, and we are there to support each other on the Twin Flame Ascension Starseed journey, and it's very helpful. I think it's nice to have a committed community, because we keep talking about community, but sometimes community means bonding. Community means sharing stories and sharing best life practices and worst life, fuckery, and laughing about it now that it's done, and kind of figuring out from different points of views how to navigate the twin flame lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle. I will say this before I go is, and I always talk about this because it's such an insult to twin flames, we are called codependent. Before I go is, and I always talk about this because it's such an insult to twin flames, we are called codependent, many of us in the twin flame community, and I have to say that we are the most independent you'll ever meet, because most twin flames live a major part of their lives in separation, and they become celibate. They're not seeking another boyfriend or girlfriend. They become celibate, and they learn how to live in a hermit state of acceptance and surrender and ascension. And they start exploring their starseed backgrounds and the many incarnations they've had in those realms. We are probably the most independent people you'll ever meet. The last thing we are codependent. And so we spend the majority of these incarnations with our twins in separation until we can come into union. And and when you do, like I've lived with my twin for a total of, we were together for 10 years. We've had multiple separations, some 8 days, some 3 days, some that kind of thing. And the longest one was damn near almost 2.5 years, like damn near 3. To me, it's like, let's just run it up to 3, but 2.5 years. That was the longest, and that was the most painful. And come to find out, it was the most painful for both of us, not just for me. And when we finally came to union, it was the last leg of our journey together on this planet. And so I just need to tell you that we're not what people say we are. And again, if you are a twin flame, if you are in the journey, you can join our group. But at least you know that truth. Does changing the spelling of our kids' names or our names also change our karma, or does that have to happen at birth? No, it can change your name. That's why I was surprised that Charlie spelled it with the IE instead of, let me put it that way. If Charlie had been spelt, okay, hang on, okay, bear with me. Let me do this quickly. Let me see if I can find. If Charlie had spelled it with an Y, right? it would have been a 1. Okay, so let me just do Charlie right now with a 1, right? So hang on, okay? Bear with me. I also think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's do a 1. So bear with me. So it would have been 19. It would have been 10. Holy fuck, here we go again. It would have been 19, which is 10. And now instead of being 20, which is 2, which is 9, right? There was some kind of 2 plus 7 is 9, which there's some kind of completion with him. It's interesting. I wonder what that was about. But anyway, had he been Charlie, right, with a Y, it would have been 19, which is 1, which is, so what's 1 plus 7? It's 8. It's 8, okay? So that would have been with his last name, it would have been a very heavy karmic number. So it's very possible that he changed the spelling, because Charlie spelled with an I-E is usually for a girl. Typically, that's what I've seen, but I could be wrong. I'm just saying, right? But he was actually better being 2, because 2 plus 7 is 9. 20, let's say I didn't bring it to the single compound number, I keep it to the double digits. 20 plus 7 is 27, which is the scepter, which is good, which is 9. It's interesting. I wonder, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. I wonder if in his rebuttal, in his affect of being so judgmental, right? So pushy on these very weird, old, dusty templates. I wonder if he was there to create harmony in chaos. I'm not kidding. In other words, bringing people to such an edge of being triggered, that they would actually refine their arguments of what was good about their points of view. People having the right to exist, not being attacked, not being starved to death, things of that nature. I really wonder what that would have been. When we look at, let's go to Elizabeth II, okay? Because that, excuse me, I'm just going to say, that bitch has a lot of karma. And guess what? As soon as I open, because I've never done her before. I'm trying to find some fucking paper. Hang on. Bear with me. I'm going to see if I can find, yeah, I'm just going to use this over here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so she's born April 20. Let's just do this, okay? So Elizabeth II. Because I don't think she was a very nice person at all. And I still don't understand why the royal family's still around. But anyway, she's born the 21st, which is 3. Remember, there's a pattern on that, 1926. But I'm going to go right into the day she died, which is 9/8 karma. Trust me, she incurred a lot of karma. I'm going to go straight to her death, actually. I'll go back to her birth in a minute, but I think it's important to do this. So I'm just going to go 8 plus 6, just for the hell of it. It comes out to 14. Magnetic communication with the public, 5 Mercury. So the way she chose to be, she's a 23. Okay. So the day she died, right? It's coming out to 23, which is massive, massive communication. Well, yeah, because, she's famous, right? She's a queen. So she's got the royal cortege. She's got all that shit going on. Okay. So, but 8, that's the one that says, yeah, but you still fucked up. You could have done a lot of things, lady. You had a lot of people who were relying on you, and you chose your own self-interest. And yeah, I'm fucking judging, because in this case, I am judging that kind of money. But by the way, when you add 421 to 1926, it comes out to 25, which is fucking 7. Do you see the pattern? There's a pattern. Wow. Okay, so she's a 5, right? So let's add her life path with 5, right? So the day she died is 5. Her life path is 7. So she's a 7 plus 5, right? And it comes out to what? 12, the sacrifice and the victim. Why? The 21 is inverted to 12. 12 is, she could have been so much more. The sacrifice and the victim. I would say the way she was raised, to be fair to her, because I will for a minute, the way she was raised was to do what she did exactly how she was raised to do. She was like programmed to do exactly what she's doing, what she did her whole entire life, which is fucking barely nothing. Okay, so there's that. The number 3, the triad of the mind, body, and power. There was no balance, in my opinion. I don't think she was balanced, and the reason why I know that is because 8 is sitting right there, right in the middle of. In my opinion, I don't think she was balanced, and the reason why I know that is because 8 is sitting right there, right in the middle of 6, which she could have made a choice. Yeah, 2022 is 6. In 9, she could have done all kinds of shit, and right in the middle is the strike, 8. She could have died on the 9th. She could have died on the 21st or the 12th, which would have been a sign. But she died on the 8th. It's like a slam in the gut. Yeah, you fucked up. So this is a person who I wouldn't be surprised comes back in 3D, there's no doubt, and is born on the 8th or is born on the 16th. And this is what I'm saying. You know, I mean, this is a person that betrayed herself, and she betrayed a lot of people, in my opinion. Are twin flames often celeb prior to, during their... I don't know what you're saying. I'm so sorry. I don't understand. Our twin. I'm sorry. I can't read that. But anyway, I'm having a hard time reading that sentence. Can somebody? Because I can't read that sentence and it's not your fault. You're limited on what you can write. Let me do this. Hang on. I don't care about King Charles, by the way. Maybe you guys care, but I honestly. But I'm kind of interested in Prince Harry, because there's a lot of speculation about him on many levels that I won't get into, because that to me is like a form of bullying, so I'm not going to do it. But he was born September 15th, right? Prince Harry. So again, 15 is the Magi. It's 9/15. Interesting. So she dies a few days before his birthday. That should have been a shock. I think he was somewhat close to her, which puzzles me. I don't know. Hang on. Let me do this. So when you have, bear with me, 9 plus 6, he was born 1984. And let me see here. 1984. So when we look at him, we're looking at 37, which, oh my God, it's a 10. 37 is 10, right? Which is 1. So he's a 1. Yeah. Okay, at this point, fuck it. Let's go to Meghan Markle. She's not my favorite person, trust me, but let's just look. So she's born August. So she's a Leo. August 4th. Okay. And she was born 1981. Let's just look at her, Meghan. Now, when you add 6 plus 4, remember, he's born on the 15th of the month. She's born on the 4th. It comes out to 10 again, which is 1. There's a repeat number on these people, isn't it? It's very interesting. It's definitely a repeat. So let's look at what her life path is. It's 1981. So 8 plus 4 plus 1981. Hang on. Let's look at that. Let's see what happens here. I've never done her, so I don't have a clue. I don't know what to expect. She's a 31, which is a 4. So it's funny. And this again goes back to us not liking people, but us needing to realize that certain people that we don't like are still here to teach us things in their own weird way. They're like, so the 4 is the volunteer number. When you add Prince Harry's life path, which is 37 to 10 to 1, 1 plus 4 is 5. And that's magnetic communication with the public connected to Mercury. And we have to admit, they have absolutely dominated in the way they communicate, the way they put out their story and share their life and their troubles and tribulations with with their families. They've been out there like it's crazy. So I think that's interesting. The only person, to be honest with you, who I thought was fascinating was Charles, Princess Diane's brother. Now that's who I thought was, holy fuck, that man's an animal in a good way. He was amazing. Hang on, we're siblings. This is weird. They don't have, here he is. His name is Charles Spencer, the 9th Earl of Spencer. And He was, if you ever saw his eulogy for his sister, Princess Diane, if you have the opportunity to watch it without edits, he was an animal. Like, he beat the shit out of them at the pulpit. I'm not joking. He would not let up. Anyway, he was born May 20th, which is 2. So we're looking at Judgment again, which is 2, and 1964. And I'm just curious, and then we'll call it a night, unless you have somebody that you really want me to do that's famous. But 5 plus 2 plus 1964, and he's a 27. He's a 27, which is fantastic. It's a 9. His sister and him were 9s. His sister and him were 9s. She was an 18, right? Remember? She died at 36, which is a 9. He was the scepter. She was spiritual material conflict. They were very close. I do know that. And he's quite a man. He's 61 years old, and he survived her. And I don't think he'll ever get over it. I think a part of his heart broke. Okay, let me see here. When you add Princess Diane to his 2, which it comes out to 3. 3 comes out a lot. Because again, the most famous person to understand 369 was Nicholas Tesla. He understood the power of 369. 3, balance of the mind, body, and power, right? The mind, body, and spirit. 6, making choices from a heart-based. 9, manifest anything you want. Manifest. What do you want? 9 is the master number, the neutral number that basically steps aside for what you want to do. So, for example, again, to reiterate, 9 plus 6 is 15, which is 6. I didn't have to add that. I just knew the minute I saw 6 plus 9, I knew it was 6. It was a single compound number, was 6. Boom. That's it. That's all I need to do. Does that make sense? Okay. So hope this was helpful, and hope to send you, what is this? Kind of like, okay. They're they living in isolation prior to finding out they are a TF. Oh, I'm not really talking about TFs today. I'm sorry. All right. Much love on your journey. Okay. I'll talk to you soon.